right, dudes, dudettes, theys, thems. Welcome to the Manistee Local Podcast, episode 9er. Oh, God. So this is a, like an electrolyte with branched chain amino acids. It's supposed to taste like mixed berry. It tastes like mixed shit. Ugh. Anyhow, it's supposed to be good for you, right? That's what they say. I don't know if the artificial flavors and all that in there is good for you. Hell, what am I saying? It's a bunch of bro science, right? I don't know if the branched chain amino acids are even something I need to, Anyways, man. It's probably because I'm getting older. So I look at a lot of this shit. Like, what can I do to continue to, I don't know. What was I going to say? To be healthier? I mean, let's be honest. This probably isn't the healthiest shit I can put in my body anyways, but I'm doing it. I'm 45. I'm going to be 46 in August, closer to 50 than 40. My son is going to be 21 in September. What? My oldest daughter is going to be turning 19 this month, graduating from high school, getting ready to go to college. And we just had parents' night at the track meet yesterday, and it was everything I could do not to break down and cry. It's like, come on, man. And they got my 8-year-old daughter, who is definitely keeping me young. But because of that gap in age, right? My 8-year-old to my soon-to-be 19 and 21-year-old older two. You can definitely feel how fast time goes. Look, I know that there are decades ahead of me, but it doesn't help the fact that, you know, when you're watching humans that you love so much grow so fast, you know, it's trying to find, it's like an era thing, right? Like now my 8-year-old, I find myself really just being in love with her, right? And in love with the age that she is right now, but missing when she was 4. Or like when she was crawling around and didn't have any hair. You know, you just kind of miss these things. My middle daughter, my oldest daughter, has got red hair. She's just beautiful. You know, I find myself when I look at her, I see like the 4-year-old her. You know, chubby cheeks, big red lips, this bright orange hair. My son, you know, I'm excited for him to be turning 21. He's really kind of leaning into his adulthood, you know, really becoming this just amazing young man, but missing a little, you know, he'd probably be upset if he listens to this, but, you know, there was kind of a moment in time where he was a short little chubby dude. And, you know, I kind of miss that era of his life. You know, as excited I am for him to continue to grow as a man, and my daughters to grow, you know, as young ladies, young women. It's time catches up, right? Catches up to all of us, but you start thinking about those things, you know. And I look at my youngest daughter, and I'm saying to myself, "Oh, yeah, I don't want you to grow up," but they do. They do grow up. So I drink nasty flavored branched chain amino acids because I think that's gonna help me grow muscles and live longer. Because that's the big thing. I just want to live healthier, longer. And be able to experience more of life with my kids, with my wife, with my friends, my family. Welcome to episode 99. We're just dialing right down, aren't we? But actually, that's really positive. It's positive because, you know, we were, you know, very blessed to sell one of our businesses, Manistee Beverage Company, We had a plan to try to jettison from that within 10 years. We did it in about 7, which was great. Much to the chagrin, I guess, of some of the local community was a little pissy because we closed. But it's not personal, it's business, right? And what people don't understand is how hard it is to, when you come up with a dream for a business and, you get the concepts, you get the business plan together, you get the funding together, you build it, from outside looking in, you're building the shell to make this thing, to get it up off the ground. And that in itself is hard work. But then, daily continuing to run the business, to sacrifice the time with the kids, right, with the spouse. I went kind of a career driven person for the majority of my life to business ownership. With Manistee Beverage Company, it's like we opened that business, and then I developed 3 other businesses aside from that while running Manistee Beverage Company, with Manistee Media, with Manistee Local, with Nomi Racing. I just kept adding more and more, and not to mention like the boards and committees I sit on. Anyways, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this guy fucking does a lot. But hey, listen, I was doing a lot, and it was getting out of control. When you open a small business, and I don't think our community is any different than any other communities, but then you start getting pulled, right? Like, can you get on this committee? Can you get on this board? Because there are areas in your community that need attention. And usually the people that give that kind of attention are people that are kind of dialed into the community. And I like to consider myself somebody who's dialed in. So anyways, I was taking on more than I should. And then there was a moment where, I was looking at my family and saying to myself, I'm not even seeing them. So I had to make a change. And we put it out into the universe that, hey, maybe it's time to change some things. Maybe we need to focus on, that next chapter, that after the sale part of our life. And, then the universe works in some of the most amazing ways. And an opportunity came up that we were able to sell the business and sell the property within a couple of years of our target date. So blessed. Got it done. Got it handled. I still have some shit down there that I got to move, but I'm really kind of fully moved into the new spot, and I'm excited to continue with this. I'm excited to continue with Nomi Racing, which is exploding right now. I mean, in comparison to years past, we are so far ahead. Registrations for Run the Pier are up like 480%, something ridiculous. I mean, it's going to be a big year. And then we kind of dovetailed. So then we added, here's me adding more shit, right? But it's just to this day. So we've got the Manistee County Summerfest, which is going to be connected to Run the Pier. I think it's a beer tent, music, games, food trucks, similar to what we did last year. But we moved everything, the race to the morning. Like I've said it before, but if you're just now hearing this, we've added a 10K, a half marathon, a full marathon, and a kids obstacle course race. So because of the distance races, we moved the event to the AM. And then the beer tent, the Manistee County Summer Festival, we're calling it, because we're hoping to grow that aspect of the event. So we're going to promote that separately, even though it's a kind of a combined event. The beer tent, the Summer Fest, Manistee County Summer Festival, is really focused on the proceeds going to Stomp Out Cancer, being more of a community-based event so that everybody feels welcome, right? We want people to feel welcome coming to our event. And like last year was the first year we did this big beer tent with Run the Pier, and I think there would have been more in attendance if people understood that you didn't have to participate in the races to come to the beer tent. You follow me? So that's why we decided to kind of splice it and promote the beer tent separately. So for those of you that are local, that are watching or listening to this, you'll see separate marketing for the Manistee County Summer Festival, and the Run the Pier Running Festival. That way, our hope is that, and it's a family event. We're going to have plenty of NA drinks available for kids. Of course, we'll have the beer tent for adults. The music is going to be really nice music for everybody to enjoy. Again, we'll have the yard games and the food trucks. It's going to be a ton of fun. And that's going to go from 12 to 6. So we're making an event out of it. So, and anyways, what I was talking about was spending the time with the family, the kids. Everybody's getting older, Jesus. So, kind of deleting Manistee Beverage Company freed up about 12 hours a day, which is pretty rad. The school year is coming to an end, so we are really putting our focus on summer and how we're going to spend it with our kids. Now, the older ones, they're going to be working. They both have summer jobs. Trent, my son, he's got I think 2 more years of college left, and then it's off to big boy stuff, right? My daughter Helena transitioning into college here after summer. That's exciting. So we'll try to, incorporate as much as we can with them, although they are, at this point, living their own lives. I mean, as soon as they both turned 18, at least from my perspective, I'm like, you're adults now. It's time for you to make adult decisions and do adult things and get out and experience life. And we didn't shackle them in any way. So they've been out doing their thing, which is good to see. It's good to see them blossom. And we're doing things like with our youngest daughter as much as we can. We'd like to call them like little mini adventures. We'll go out and we'll go on hikes and go on bike rides. And we're gradually getting to a point in our life where we might start taking trips. That'll be focused more on like outdoor activities, which is what we're really into. And I think it's really important that, I'd never tell anybody how to raise their kids or do anything in particular with their children. I mean, but I do think one thing that's super important is keeping your kids active physically. That helps with them mentally, and feed them good food, get them out running around, raise them right, and take care of yourself too. Put good food into your body, stay active, be healthy, because that example trickles down to them. Hey, listen, that's a fact. I mean, you can drink Mountain Dew and eat shitty food, but don't expect your kids to understand that that's not a good thing to do to yourself. You feel me? Don't get me wrong. I like a little DC every now and then, a little Diet Coke. I might even go to Dairy Queen and get like a little small M&M Blizzard. That's my go-to when I go there. But I don't eat garbage every day. Anyways, listen, I'm sorry. I'm not going to... you do you, but I'm just saying that I see that when you're healthy as a parent, your kids see that. It's kind of apple tree, comes from upbringing type situation. You be good to yourself, your kids will be good to themselves. You lead by example, your kids follow the example. So get out, be active, put healthy things in your body. Helps mentally. Ground yourself, meditate. I can turn into a yogi here for a second. It took me a long time. I have been 50 pounds heavier than I am now. I used to drink a lot. I used to smoke a pack and a half of cigarettes a day when I was in the Air Force. Daddy got up to almost 3 packs a day. Yeah. So I know what it's like to be unhealthy. I know what it's like to feel like you're just carrying a bag of dog shit on your back all day. So I'm preaching to myself just as much as I'm trying to encourage other people to be healthy. So again, set the example. Your kids will follow the example. They will. I mean, if you're a good person, they'll be good people, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Unless there's like a defect in there someplace, but I won't go down that road. Anyways, what the hell am I talking about? Time, kids. Yeah. Gonna be 46. Gonna be looking down 50, closer to 50 than 40. What, dude? I don't know. It hits me sometimes, And I don't know about you guys, but how do you feel with kind of navigating getting a little bit older? I was talking to a friend the other day whose husband has just turned 40, and he's starting to have like all the feels, starting to think about things, reflecting on life. And I'm like, I'm telling you, 40 is when it starts for dudes. It just kind of does. 40 is when you start thinking about like growing up and then getting older, and am I healthy enough? I mean, how come it hurts when I get out of bed? I want to try to be better, so I want to start like he's like wanting to start, I think, going to the gym or running or some shit. And I go, it's kind of 40 is when it's like make or break mentally sometimes. I mean, I know dudes that didn't start working out until they were 50 and they look amazing. So it's never too late to start, I guess is what I'm saying. But I can remember when I turned 40, it was kind of like this awakening, like, oh my God. And I turned 40 in our second year down at Manistee Beverage, and everything was accumulating. We had just started Manistee Media, was my second business venture with my buddy Zach, and I was on like the DDA board. I was on another committee. I'm working 12 hours a day at Manistee Beverage, and now I'm trying to do the side hustle with Manistee Media and try to grow that. And I'm like, I'm gaining weight again. I could just feel it. And I'm like, man, something's got to change. So I slowly started kind of deleting all the extracurricular shit. I'm not going to be on this committee anymore. I'm not going to do this thing anymore. I need to focus on me. I need to find and invest in time so that I can give it to my family, so that I can give that time to my children. Get back in the gym. I was neglecting that. Eating like shit. You know what I'm saying? And, I was just coming out of a period in my life where, I was working a job, that I was good at. It was taking me out on the road a lot. And I was eating like shit. This is pre-Manistee Beverage. I was having all kinds of pain in my joints and shit. Well, come to find out, I had rheumatoid arthritis. It sucks, right? Well, the specialist I went to was like, hey, we're going to put you on this medicine, and we're going to have to check like your liver every like 3 to 6 months. I'm like, fuck that. Why would I take a drug that's going to so badly affect my liver that you got to check it every 3 to 6 months? There's got to be a better way. Anyways, went plant-based. I've talked about this before. I mean, actually went really hard vegan, and eliminated like all nitrates, red meats, all that stuff out of my diet. Sure, lost some weight, but you know what? Within months, that joint pain, I could really dive into like how that felt. I mean, the joint pain was intense, very painful, hard to walk. I mean, and then within a few months, it was gone. Went and had some follow-up testing. No markers for rheumatoid arthritis anymore. How fucking wild is that? And then I actually had a doctor tell me that, well, maybe it was a bad test or something like that. Like 5 fucking times, and then all of a sudden the last time there's no rheumatoid arthritis. Maybe it was a bad test. Anyhow, definitely was some garbage I was putting into my system. Now, since then, am I a full-on vegan anymore? No. I definitely lean more plant-based, but I eat eggs, I eat cheese. Every now and then I'll eat some chicken. I think it's definitely the red meat. I haven't gone back to red meat, and for me, that must have been what it was. But anyways, it's the focus on, just try to be the best version of you. And for me, that starts with a healthy diet. That's exercise, time spent with the ones you love. That really helps the brain box, if you know what I mean. If your heart is full, mentally you're clear. I really believe that. If your heart is full, mentally you're clear. But, hey, this is my health and well-being TED Talk. Welcome. Anyways, it's been a minute since I've sat down and just chatted with you guys. The episode 98, the podcast I did with Dr. Andy Reamer. We also had Rob Beck on, and Andy's right-hand person, Sue DeMott. And, that episode was really focused on his new business ventures. He bought Sticks Bar a while back and totally redid that place, and it's absolutely amazing. But for those of you that are just watching, if you didn't listen or watch that episode, go check it out. So he owns Reamer Eye Centers here in Michigan. He's an optometrist, a doctor. He focuses on eye surgery, stuff like that. I think LASIK and some other shit. I could be wrong. Just Google ReamerEyeCenter.com. But he'd been doing that forever, and he's been slowly purchasing restaurants, and so the move from optometry to food and beverage is kind of wild, to be honest with you. But the reasons for it are pretty, I get what he's doing and why he's doing it. At least in talking to him, it seems like there's some sentimental value on a lot of the properties that he's picking up. Doesn't want to see them go, and he's got the money to do it. So I'm excited. So we're talking about like Doc Sable River Inn, the Chuck Wagon, dope pizza there, by the way. Sticks Bar. He just bought Emerson Lake Inn, which is a really cool spot on Emerson Lake. And so the concept there, I think, is going to be really unique. And what else? Oh, he bought the Michael's Bar and Restaurant, the property, and tore it down. And he's building a massive 3-tiered bar, restaurant, game simulator type situation down there. It's called Andy's. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that property come to fruition. I mean, he's got a shitload of money just in steel right now. Building the levels to it. So definitely something to check out if you didn't watch that one. And I banked those episodes in April. And let's see, in March too. So because we were still in the process of leaving Manistee Beverage and moving everything in the new spot. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good spread for March and April. And now we're getting into May, and everybody that I have lined up is more middle May, towards the end of May. So you got me. Although I am trying to get an episode 100 that's kind of like hey, we made it to episode 100. I've got thousands of videos on the internet. On YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, I think I got like 720 some videos here on YouTube. The majority of those are like reels. And the same thing for like Instagram and Facebook. I've got a shitload of shorts and reels out there on those platforms. But this, just the podcast, and everywhere that the podcast is watched and listened to, we're just working on getting up to number 100. And I think that's a really cool milestone. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to do this. Even though it's just me, a mic, my iPhone, and I've been doing this with just a phone since the beginning. The first couple of episodes, there are no mics. It's just the microphone that's on the phone. And obviously you can tell the difference there. And these mics are great. They could be better. I've evolved from no mic to a little mic on the phone to a mic pinned to my shirt to these mics. The hope is to get like a legit camera and better mics, and then maybe move on to multiple cameras, better lighting, all the shit. But that stuff takes time. I can get there with your viewership, your subscriptions. Obviously, it helps if we have sponsors for the show, and I really appreciate everybody, all the businesses that do sponsor the show. That helps a ton. It helps pay for rent of the new podcasting studio, and it'll eventually help me upgrade to all that equipment I just talked about. So I'm excited. So let's get pumped for episode 100. I think I'm going to try to get my boy Dylan Walker to come back on. We've talked about it. Dylan is my dear friends, business partner, Nomi Racing, and we might just have to have a couple of cocktails. He needs to loosen up. You got to kind of oil the wheel a little bit. You know what I mean? But he's very knowledgeable on a lot of things, and really dialed in to the local community. So some of the things that I want to talk about, he's going to be able to, express upon, which I'm happy, and I'm blessed to have somebody like that in my life, a dear friend, to be episode 100. So fingers crossed it's Dylan. You might be stuck with me. It just depends. I mean, I know that part of the things about having a podcast is consistency of the podcast, right? So I apologize. I've been slacking on getting guests signed up to come on. We've had some that have fallen through, so we're getting there. But anyways, that's where I'm at with that. We've got some good guests coming up. I'm actually going to have Rob. So Rob Beck was on the podcast with Dr. Reamer. He's going to come on this month at some point, kind of talk about his transition from business owner to kind of being a team member under this big umbrella that Dr. Reamer now has. He's going to be helping run and be more of the social media arm for Docs and his other food and beverage enterprises, which I think is a solid move. So Rob's he's a good personality. He's definitely an ally for the marketing side of things for Doc Reamer. So I think that's a real solid move. So I'm looking forward to talking to Rob about that. I'm also going to have my friend Heather Stepanek come on the podcast. She owns a clothing company, Red Dolly. I'm gonna fuck that up, but she makes bathing suits. She's really into vintage clothing. She wrote a book. She's a super interesting human. She's moved around a lot, her and her husband and their kids, but I think they have a really great story. I love talking to entrepreneurs, and she's doing a wonderful job with her business. And she kind of flies under the radar, here locally. But she's got a really big presence on Instagram and a really big presence on YouTube. So I'm really excited to sit down and talk to her. Who else do I got lined up? Do I got anybody? Oh, and I got my good buddy Jacob Sang. He's going to be coming on. He is a chiropractic doctor. He owns a CrossFit gym. He and his wife are really active in the Ludington community. So, and the family is from Manistee. There is a long tradition, a long good business tradition of Sangs in the Manistee area. And so I'm really pumped to have him on and kind of, rehash some old days from when we were younger, and talk about his businesses that he currently has in Ludington, and some of his views on fitness, which I'm really looking forward to having that conversation with him. I love talking with fitness, especially with people that really know what they're talking about. So that's going to be coming up. So for sure, those three plus me, and we'll get some more people. We'll get some more on for May as we. And then as we get into June, it's going to be even more full. So I've got a lot signed up for June. So yeah, so we've got that going on. So hopefully we put a nice little book in there for you guys. Short little podcast today, short little solo pod. But I want you to know that I love each and every single one of you. This episode is brought to you by The Outsider of Manistee. We're showcasing their family tavern, their beer garden, and their arcade. Their large outdoor patio. This place is really awesome. It's very focused on family, getting people outside, getting them to tour the city of Manistee, showcasing our social district with their newly added indoor bar, which is awesome. They have 6 drafts, over 100 canned beers and canned cocktails to choose from on the menu. This is a really awesome place for the family. You got to mess the kids, fill their pockets full of quarters, let them have at those pinball machines. Mom, Dad, enjoy a nice cold draft beer or a canned cocktail. Get yourself something to eat, feed the family, feed the kids, wake up that liver a little bit, and then go enjoy downtown Manistee. These guys are located at 457 River Street. You can find them on outsidermanistee.com. Call them at 231-299-1235 or order for pickup and delivery at orderoutsider.com. Check this place out. You won't regret it. This episode is brought to you by the Ramsdale Regional Center for the Arts. You can find them online at www.ramsdaletheater.org, or you can reach them by phone at 231-398-9770. So check the website for the ticketing information. That's www.ramsdaletheater.org. This episode is brought to you by Brandon Ball, broker owner of Dwelling Realty, Keller Williams, Northern Michigan. Are you looking to sell your home? Then look no further. When you list your home with Brandon Ball, you'll get a trusted advisor who will guide you through the entire selling process. With extensive knowledge of the local market, he'll help price your home competitively to attract the right buyers. And with proven marketed strategies, your home will be seen by the most qualified of buyers. With 17 years in the business, you'll have someone experienced who's on your side. Contact Brandon today to get started selling your home. 231-690-4981. That's 231-690-4981. Or Brandon at dwellingrealty.com. This episode is brought to you by Just Clean, Manastee's premier car wash located at 146 Cleveland Street or just north of the US 31 bridge. Choose their ultimate car wash, folks. That's what I always do because I can't stand my truck being dirty. And the ultimate car wash is the best. It includes a triple foam conditioner, ceramic coating plus wax, and a 60-second heated blow dry. Get in, get out, get looking fly, get the dirt and dust and grime off your vehicle. Choose Just Clean Car Wash of Manistee. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes, your comments. All that shit helps. Thank you for watching the show. Here's the bigger and better episodes, and let's get excited for episode 100 because that's coming soon. Hugs and kisses on all your pink parts. Love you guys.